bald-headed, wig-wearing Paula Metzler on Penfield Town Court. The name of this YouTube is Invasion of Privacy. Because you are responsible for the invasion of my privacy. My name is Christopher Chichester. I've never committed a crime. And that fact is completely irrelevant to you. Do you know why the name of this YouTube is Invasion of Privacy? Paula Metzler? Can you guess why? Given your age, I'm concerned that you cannot make a distinction between the truth and lies, justice and injustice, fact from fiction. Because you're up there with that pathetic deer in headlights disposition, and when the truth is presented to you, the truth is alien to you. So Paula Metzler, the reason for this YouTube, and I'm going to have detailed questions for you that will accompany the transcript to this YouTube that I'm not going to say on here on YouTube because of my own privacy. I'm not going to violate my own privacy on YouTube, which anyone can see. You violated my privacy. When I was in Penfield Town Court, bald-headed, wig-wearing Paula Metzler, you asked me a question that had nothing to do with the law or a criminal charge. And I had never committed a crime, and the fact that I've never committed a crime is irrelevant to you. You asked me a question, Paula Metzler, when I was in front of you that had nothing whatsoever to do with this nauseating, disgusting, sickening descent on my life by Sheriff Todd Baxter and District Attorney Sandra Dorley and these parasites, Raj and Layla Kumar Shah, that keep coming to you with these pathetic concoctions, this descent on my life. You know the question you asked me? Given your age, do you remember the question you asked me? You looked down at a piece of paper, Paula Metzler, and then you asked me a question that had nothing whatsoever to do with the law or the facts as to why I was in Penfield Town Court. What was that question? I'm not going to say it here because this is YouTube, an open forum that anyone in the United States of America can watch. Anyone in New York can watch. Anyone in Monroe County can watch. Anyone in Penfield can watch. So I'm not going to say it. But you know what you said. So since you know what I'm talking about, and I know what you said to me, it's not necessary for me to repeat that question. But I will repeat that question to you in the correspondence you will sign for when I take the transcript of this YouTube and send it to the New York State Department of Health and the Federal Department of Human Services. Because, Paula Metzler, perhaps you have heard of the Health Insurance Portability and Accountability Act of 1996, and I've attached the HIPAA link at the Department of Health and Human Services. And I'm going to read this briefly. A major goal of the privacy rules is to ensure that individuals' health information is properly protected while allowing the flow of health information needed to provide and promote high-quality health care and to protect the public's health and well-being. Do you understand that language, given your age? It says to ensure that individuals' health information is properly protected. Now, I've included the summary of HIPAA in here so you can read all of it. My health insurance information is not properly protected because you had a piece of paper in your hand and you looked at that piece of paper and then you asked me a question you should never have asked me because you should have never had that piece of paper in your hand with the information on it. And that is a violation of federal law. How do you explain that to the State Department of Health and the Federal Department of Human Services? How do you explain it to the Department of Justice when I contact the employees of the Department of Justice and I tell them, you're asking me a question in open court without a prosecutor that has nothing to do with these concocted charges for me? These are just two of them. There are multiple ones, but these are just two that I had appear in Penfield Town Court. 2 lies. What was that question you asked me? You know what it was. So, Paula Metzler, who told you about my health history? Why are you asking me about my health in court when my health has nothing to do with me sitting there in front of you? How do you explain that to the Department of Justice, the State Department of Health, the Federal Department of Human Services, that there you are with that pathetic deer in the headlights countenance of yours, looking down at a piece of paper that I don't know what's on, and I don't know who provided it to you, and you're asking me about my health? So, this is sickening, vile, nauseating, bankrupt descent on my life by a sickening, nauseating, vile, bankrupt human being. That human being is you, Paula Metzler. What is wrong with you, Paula Metzler? Why are you consumed with hatred? You sitting there in your little library courtroom, guilty, innocent, and everybody's guilty. Isn't that right, Paula Metzler? That's why you're refusing to comply with these Freedom of Information Law documents. I'm going to attach them again. I'm going to update this relentlessly because I'm trying to remove you from Penfield Town Court and send you into forced retirement, humiliation, and disgrace. And I'm confident, after I contact the United States Department of Justice and the Office of Andrew Cuomo and the reporters and editors at the Democratic Chronicle, that will be easily achieved. This is sent on December 16th, and it's attached along with the other ones. It's the same document. The name, charge, and sentence of every defendant in Penfield Town Court for John P. Metzler Jr., James P. Mully Jr., and Paula Metzler. And you refused. This is 4 weeks ago. Over and over and over. This is attached again. It doesn't have today's date, but you have the document, so comply with it. And the reason why you refuse to comply with it, bald-headed, wig-wearing Paula Metzler, is that everybody's guilty. I'll prove it right now. When is a human being, a citizen, walked into Penfield Town Court and been acquitted by either you, James P. Mully, John P. Metzler Jr., and that person does not walk the face of the earth? And how is that explained to the United States Department of Justice, the Office of Governor Andrew Cuomo, and the editors and reporters of the Democratic Chronicle? To just name a few of the institutions and individuals I'm going to contact. So Paula Metzler, I'm going to repeat this again. A major goal of the privacy rules is to ensure that individuals' health information is properly protected while allowing the flow of health information needed to provide and promote high-quality health care. Properly protected. If you're asking me, and you did ask me, about my health history, which is excellent, then my information is not properly protected because you have it right there in front of you. How is that possibly explained? How is that possibly explained when I contact the Court of Appeals? I'm in the process of attempting to determine the appropriate individual in the New York State court system to contact about you and your repulsive, vile, disgusting, sickening existence in that star chamber. And I'm going to tell this person, if it's the chief judge of the Court of Appeals, I don't know yet, or some other court in a court system in New York, I'm going to contact this individual. I'm going to say that this Paula Metzler in Penfield Town Court is asking me a question that is in violation of HIPAA. That's exactly what I'm going to tell the Court of Appeals judges in Albany and other court systems in New York, because I have not yet been able to determine how the bureaucratic structure of the courts work. You certainly have to be accountable to someone, correct? But I believe that you're not accountable to anyone. There's the federal appellate system, and there's the appeals process, and decisions can be overturned. But that doesn't happen in Penfield Town Court, I believe. There is no appellate system. It's just you and your revolting, sickening, nauseating criminal presence with James P. Mully Jr. and 70-year-old John P. Metzler Jr. for you, and you're just in there destroying lives and having access to the personal health information of an innocent citizen. And that's me. How do you explain having my personal health records in front of you? Because you look down at my records, and then you ask me that question. How is that explained? Explain it. Click reply. Just so you know, I'm going to emphasize this. I will never come to Penfield Town Court. I'm going to emphasize this too. I will have to be physically attacked and assaulted and deposited in there. And if I'm in there, Paula Metzler, I will be screaming at you in the most ferocious way possible. You will not be able to talk. There's not one word you will be able to say to me. And that's going to be the disposition of an innocent man who's never committed a crime. There's no interest whatsoever. How is it that you don't even ask me one question? I will say this to the Court of Appeals. I will say this to the Department of Justice. I will say this to the Office of Andrew Cuomo. There's not one question from you whatsoever. Guilty, 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 guilty. Everybody's guilty. The facts as to why I'm in there is totally irrelevant to you. Where is your decency? Where is your ethics? Where is your character? You don't have decency. You don't have ethics. You don't have character. So Paula Metzler, as this YouTube's at 10 minutes, I will tell the Office of Andrew Cuomo, the Court of Appeals system, the New York State court system, the State Department of Health, the Federal Department of Human Services, that you illegally accessed my health care history and any information related to my health, which is excellent. You are a criminal, Paula Metzler.